Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. We are very excited to have you all back at school. We're pretty sure that you have lots of questions and concerns. A lot of what I'm about to mention in this video we have outlined in our policy already, but I also know a video is much easier to follow as well. And it's something you can also show your children so they know what to expect when they get to school. Us as the staff, we've had our health and safety meeting and we've spoken about the procedure and the policy, and everyone who had questions, we've really tried our best to answer them and to come up with a set of guidelines that not only meet what the basic education department has set out, but also exceed them. So we really are trusting that what we can do is going to be looking at the best interest of our children and the best interest of our staff as well. But the important thing is with this whole policy and with the measures that we've put in place is that absolutely everyone follows them. The reason we're making this video is that you all know what to expect, you all know what to do, so we can keep absolutely everyone safe during this pandemic. Firstly, academically speaking, the distant learning has gone very well. We are very happy with the support the parents have provided. The teachers have really gone the extra mile at providing great content and different ways in presenting that content. I know when I look at some of the assessments that we've got back, we can see that most of our children are not only where they should be academically in terms of the planner, but they're also ahead. So a lot of our government schools are looking at trimming down the curriculum and slowing things down for the children, whereas we're actually ahead academically speaking. So thank you to everyone who has been really key at making sure that we've had good academic learning happening. Right, so the first thing, which is probably the most important thing, is there are obviously a set of screening questions and things that we will have to cover for anyone who's going to be entering the school premises or campus. So both campuses, the pre-primary at Lion Street and here on Clue Street at the main campus, Mountain View campus, we will all follow the same procedure. And it's best that you as parents try and follow these same guidelines before you even leave the house in the morning, so you know that your children have passed the screening process. The staff will also undergo the process as well, and we have a set guidelines showing that what needs to happen and what to go through. So we're actually going to have a little piece of paper like this, printed and laminated up by the entrance. It's very good if you also go through these same questions as I mentioned earlier. So the first thing is a temperature. If you are displaying a temperature of 38 degrees Celsius or higher, you are not allowed to come on campus. So we've got these forehead thermometers. They are non-contact thermometers. Everyone will be scanned, and it's very cold. Everyone's temperature will be checked on entrance and exit. So please, before you leave the house, check your child's temperature. We must ask them if they have a cough, if they have a sore throat, do they have shortness of breath, or do they struggle to breathe? Are they feeling weak or tired? Are they able to taste food normally, and can they smell normally? These questions are very, very important. When you now leave the house, you're happy your child has passed those questions. Please, you are to make sure that you've washed your hands, you've helped your child put the mask on securely. From the moment they leave the house, it is law in South Africa at the moment with level 4 that they are to wear a mask at all times. When they get into the car as well, they are to wear their mask at all times. When you arrive at school, the pre-primary, you will drive in the entrance, and then you'll see outside teacher Mariana's entrance, the cars will stop over there. Your child can get out the car and they will begin the screening process. You as parents are not allowed to leave. You're not allowed to drive off until the teacher so at the pre-primary it'll be Charmaine, she will be doing the screening over there, and myself, I will be at the main campus entrance and I'll be doing the screening over there. You must wait for Charmaine and you must wait for myself to give you the approval that your child has passed the screening before you leave. There's no point in dropping your child off and they've got a fever, and then it can influence or affect others on the campus. So you have to wait for the screening process. Once your child has passed, then you're allowed to leave. At the Mountain View campus, you are pleased to come from the Lion Street direction. So you're going to park directly opposite the gate, not across the road. You need to come from that same direction. Everyone can come around from that side. They will be screened, and then you're allowed to leave going towards the direction of Montana. Again, it's very important that you do that. We don't want vehicles on the opposite side of the road stopping and then children running across the road. Again, with transport and arrival, at the moment with the level 4 lockdown, there are restrictions on occupancy and vehicles as well. So if you are in a private vehicle, currently the occupancy limit is 60% of the vehicle, including the driver. So if you're in a 5-vehicle car, a 5-seater sedan, like a regular car, that is privately owned and you are driving it yourself, you are not allowed to have 3 people or more, including the driver, in that vehicle. If it's a 7-seater vehicle, it's 4 people or more. When it comes to a taxi service or a paid service, the percentage is even less. You are only allowed 50% occupancy. So it is very important that you as the parents ensure that whoever is transporting your children, whether it's yourself or someone else, a relative or someone that you've been paying to drop the kids off, that they are following those guidelines. We will also be watching that and monitoring that. So if we see a vehicle arriving and they've exceeded the limit, they are not wearing masks in the car, they're not having their hands sanitized when they enter or exit the vehicle, unfortunately we will not be allowed to allow the staff or the children to enter the premises. So it's very important that you follow that, please, to keep everyone safe as well. So again, when you get to the entrance, you will see Charmaine and myself. We won't look like this. We will have masks on and visors, the shields, and we will show you footage of that so you know what to expect. We don't want the younger kids to be too concerned. It's still us, we're still there, we'll be smiling underneath the mask even though you don't see the smiles. And please don't be alarmed by that. Then later we will also be showing you a video for the different classes on where to enter. Once your child has passed the screening process, they are allowed to go to their particular class. Every teacher will ensure that every child has got their own learning station. So when they arrive at school, they will go straight to their station. At this station there will be pre-planned work waiting there for them, whether it be revision or something that's going to introduce the lesson for the day, and they are allowed to go straight to that and start their work. It is very important that you please start training your children now in wearing their masks beforehand, and you are talking to them about washing and sanitizing their hands before they touch their face or before they eat any food. We will dedicate at least 5 minutes every single lesson. So we have a lesson every half an hour or 45 minutes. So every one of those 30 minutes or 45 minutes, we're going to be dedicating 5 minutes to going again over hygiene, over washing hands, over keeping social distancing. This sort of thing needs to become second nature. I know myself, funny enough, wearing my old high school awards jacket, Selborne, and for us it was very important that when someone walked into the room that you stood up and you walked over to them to go shake their hands. And this has become second nature for me and a lot of people who've grown up in that sort of system. Whereas now we have to train our children differently, and we have to teach them that physical contact is not actually allowed to keep them safe and to keep others safe. So please make sure that you are starting to train your children to wear the mask, to wash their hands. My own son Micah, who's sitting right here now, we for the last couple of weeks have been getting him to wear a mask. In the mornings when we go for walks, when he's playing outside, we're trying to get him to be used to wearing that mask and used to washing his hands, and to making sure when he washes his hands that he doesn't just put soap on and rush it off quickly, but he's really thorough with going between his fingers as well. And speaking with hand sanitizers, please ensure that your child has got their own hand sanitizer of at least 70% alcohol in it in their pockets at all times. We don't want anyone sharing hand sanitizers. They're not allowed to share any equipment whatsoever, be it a sharpener, a rubber, pencil case, absolutely nothing. They're not allowed to come into contact with each other. So the moment they need to touch their face or eat, they've got their hand sanitizer that only they have touched. They can clean their hands, put it back in their pocket, and adjust their mask or eat their food or whatever they need to do. And with the mask as well, it's very important that they have at least 2 masks with them. So one mask they're wearing and a clean mask in their bag. This is vital because if something happens to their mask, if it gets contaminated during the day, they've got a spare one to use. This is especially important with our younger children as well. Our actual timetable and planner for the day has been adjusted to fit in with the virus. So we've done it to try and limit social interactions and to maintain safe social distancing. You will see with the actual classrooms have been spaced out really well. We've been able to adhere to not just the 1.5 meters that the department are suggesting, but even bigger distances than that in our classrooms to keep the children safe. When it comes to break times, our break times at the main campus, as you can see in our policy, are still the same, being that we have got a large enough space where we can separate the children. Each class teacher, usually would have one teacher on break duty per day, but now everyone is going to be on break duty monitoring their base class. So for instance, I'm in charge of the grade 4s and 5s. They have got a designated playing area. We will have lining up spaces so we know how to line up and we can go out to break, keeping that safe distance. And when we're out at break, the class teachers will monitor their classes and make sure that they're keeping distances. Our younger children, the pre-primary, they will have break times depending on their classes, so they will be completely staggered, unlike the main campus. When they go out to break, we're going to mark out a little obstacle course that they can follow that doesn't come into contact with anything, but it's really a path that they can follow, so they can still take advantage of some outside time. The biggest difference we really have now with our break times is the children will not be allowed to just go to the toilet when they want at the main campus. We've got designated toilet times where the different classes will go. Each teacher is aware of those toilet times and they will make sure that the kids are sticking to those. If there's an emergency, it's absolutely fine, we can accommodate that. The reason for that is when the classes use the toilets, we need to disinfect the classes in between and spray everything down. When they do go to the toilets, the teacher will go in and open the tap, so the children will not be touching the tap. The teacher will also be holding the soap dispenser, so they will put the soap in their hand, they will be able to wash their hands. The teacher at the end will close the taps. The children will not come into contact with the taps at all. When they leave the bathrooms, we would like each parent, if you could please provide your child with some paper towels to dry their hands. If not, we're gonna, obviously they will air dry their hands when they leave. Just being cold at the moment with winter, especially today, I'm shivering a little bit here while making this video. We are not allowing them to use the cotton towels just because with multiple people touching it, again, that can spread the virus. So at the end of the school day, every single classroom, even though each child has got their own workstation, every single station and class will be completely disinfected. So it's completely clean for the next day. And then every single class has got their own exit time at the end of the day. They are staggered by 5 minutes, and it is very important that parents try and stick to those leaving times to help limit interactions with the children. And we really would appreciate your support with this. If we have children waiting around outside and then the next class comes, it's going to really make it difficult for the teachers to maintain the social distancing. So it's very important that we all stick to these plans just to help out. Just coming back, if any parents feel the need to actually be on campus and to chat to a teacher, we really would like to encourage you to please do that digitally. If you can message or phone your teacher that you need to speak to, you can use WhatsApp obviously or email as well. We really are going to have quite a strict policy with outsiders coming onto campus. If you feel it is really essential that you need to come onto campus for whatever reason, it needs to be done with prior arrangements. So you need to contact either Mrs. Muddles in the front office, or you need to contact your class teacher, and then they will speak to me and we can decide whether it is essential or not. And something else that we really want to try and do, we know that a lot of the children, you don't have endless supplies of your school uniform. So just for now, at the beginning when we start coming back, we are going to ask that our children wear civvies. It's obviously winter and it's quite cold, so dress as warm as you can. We don't mind civvies. The reason being is obviously being warm and limiting any other underlying flus or infections coming along. And also, it also means that you can, make sure that the kids are wearing completely clean clothes every single time. Again, some of our teachers might be contacting the parents individually. We know, like our pre-primary, you normally pay a stationery fee, and we get equipment in and different crayons and paints and brushes, and they're able to share a lot of things. We really need to limit that. So If there's an activity, we've asked the teachers to really try their best to come up with their station, their set of equipment, and to limit the sharing. If there's something that is really essential that they need to do, they will contact the parents individually and ask them to please send them in with something extra. Please don't be upset. I mean, this is obviously something that we try and budget for at the beginning of the year, but just, no one could have planned ahead for COVID-19. So if it is really needed, your teachers will be asking you to send the children with something that they need to do for that day. If you don't have it, obviously let the teachers know, and they will try and make another plan for your children. And then for now, the basic education department has said to us that there are absolutely no extramurals, just the nature of the contact of them, and obviously now you're breathing a bit heavier and there's droplets in the air and all that, even though it can be outside. We have got a plan where we're going to try and come up with some very unique types of activities that we can do spread out in the outside area. But we do have a plan in place, and we're just waiting to hear some guidelines on those so we can start doing some physical activities as soon as possible. And then again, at the end of the day, make sure that you're sticking to your child's finishing time. And when they leave the premises, staff included, everyone will go through the same screening process with all the questions, and also checking their temperature, and then having their hands sanitized again. This is also so we can inform you if there's anything that changed throughout the day, so you as parents know whether you need to go see a doctor or not. If a child or a staff member passes the screening process when they come to school, and during the course of the day they're not feeling too well, and they have perhaps a fever or a cough, and it's one of our questions in our guidelines, then we have dedicated isolation rooms. So at the pre-primary, it is previously the back music room. At the main campus, it's the staff room. The staff are not going to be meeting in the staff room during all this. So if a child or a staff member does get sick, that is the room that they will go to. If they are identified as being ill, we will call you as the parents immediately and obviously discuss the situation. If we feel it is a COVID-19 related incident, we will have to call the COVID-19 hotline to get further advice from the department as well. And something also to note, at the end of the day, we normally have our scholar patrol at the main campus. We will not be able to do that now. When the classes come out at their designated times, they can come straight into the car, and obviously you will see the screening process as well, and then you can leave from there.